From May the 1st, 2006, all new vehicles in scope of tachograph regulations will be fitted with the digital tachograph. The move from analog to digital is mainly due to the advancement in technology and to make the monitoring of drivers' hours easier. The digital tachograph also works alongside the Working Time Directive, and to date is the most secure recording equipment that transport has ever seen. It is a very simple system with the information recorded to its memory rather than to a wax chart, and utilizes the power of the PC to decipher this information, allowing you, the operator, to obtain instant and accurate analysis of your driver's working hours. The transmission from analog to the digital system is a relatively smooth one, with only minor changes to legislation. The aim of this video is to take you from the arrival of a new vehicle on through a typical driver's day, professionally and legally, and finally showing you how to retrieve, view and analyze the data which has been created. To help with clarity and understanding, the demonstration unit will be used. There are currently 3 digital tachograph manufacturers. They are all similar in operation and are all standard in respect of card acceptance and display readouts. The digital tachograph is also referred to as a VU, vehicle unit. So let's look at the VU itself. You have the display. Below this, slots 1 and 2 for the driver cards, and activity buttons for driver 1 and driver 2, along with the eject buttons. On the front of the printer tray, you have the function button to navigate through the menu. The function button allows you to scroll down, scroll up, back, and OK. And here is the release button for the printer roll tray. Smart cards are needed to protect, record, and access data. There are 4 types of smart card: driver, company, workshop, and control. Firstly, we have the driver card. This card is required by anyone who wishes to drive the vehicle. Without this card, it is illegal to drive the vehicle. There is a fee payable to the DVLA for this card. It is valid for 5 years and is personal to the individual. If you are not yet in possession of the driver card, you should apply immediately to the DVLA using Form D777B. The driver's card replaces the need for charts, and it's the only card to record data to the VU and from the VU to the card. Should you damage or lose this card, you will be required to pay a fee and collect your new card from the local test centre. The company card exists to protect and access driver and vehicle data. There is a fee payable to the DVLA for this card, and like the driver's card, it is valid for 5 years. The workshop card is issued to approved calibration technicians only. It's a key which allows setting up, calibration, and any fault diagnosis of the VU. The control card allows the authorities, the police and VOSA, to gain access to the information stored in the VU, along with immediate access to the activities on your card. So we start when your vehicle arrives on site. The first thing to be done is to insert your company card. All cards are inserted with the arrow facing forward and the chip facing up. This will lock in the company. Locking in with the company card protects both the personal data of your employees as well as any data generated. Now check the time, which is displayed in UTC, Universal Time Coordinated. The VU will always record and print in UTC. UTC is the same as British Winter Time. In summer, when our clocks go forward, we are ahead of UTC by 1 hour. UTC removes the need to adjust to the various time zones. Once the company card has successfully locked in, eject your card. You are given the opportunity to log out. Scroll up or down to display No and enter OK. The card then ejects. As we mentioned earlier, one of the key reasons for the introduction of the VU is to make the keeping of drivers' hours and records simple, and also include this within their working time. All it takes are a few simple entries that are required to be made by the driver on insertion of their card. Firstly, upon insertion of the card, the time will be displayed. The driver's name will then be displayed along with the last time of the card withdrawal. An option of a manual entry will be asked should you not need to make any manual entries, as ideally you have inserted your card at your shift start and removed your card at your shift end, then select up or down to No and enter OK. Now enter the start country. As you will have noticed on the VU display, the activities and information shown are in pictogram format. This allows the VU to be universal. There are no translation issues when a picture is displayed. For a full description of these pictograms, you can refer to the manual. Ideally, you should log on prior to any other work, such as carrying out the vehicle checks. Insert your card and use the activity button to select Other Work. There is no need to change the activity mode to drive, as the VU automatically selects drive when the vehicle is moving. Now arriving at the customer site. When stationary, the VU always defaults to Other Work. If you find that a delivery has not been confirmed or the customer is not ready and you are given a waiting time, then you should change the activity to POA. And remember to select Other Work using the activity button when the delivery commences. The delivery has been completed. No action is required when driving off, as the VU automatically defaults to drive. The VU accumulates 4 hours and 15 minutes of driving time, and then will warn you that a break is due within the next 15 minutes. Any warning or message will be accompanied by the warning LED illuminating in the odometer. Clearing this message should only be carried out when it is safe to do so. Should you exceed the driving time, a second warning will be displayed. Clearing the message will not stop it from being recorded. Remember, this has also been recorded to your driver's card and will be highlighted as an infringement when your card has been downloaded. Before starting your break, remember to select Rest using the Activity button. A summary of driving time and rest can be viewed by selecting the Scroll Down or Up button. Here you can see that the minimum 45 minutes has been taken. You can now safely go on your way. Driving off for our second run, again, no action is required. We now have the LED coming on, and note that the VU is giving us a warning of overspeeding. This will activate after the vehicle has exceeded 56 miles per hour for over 1 minute. The solution is to bring your speed back down, where you will notice the LED will go out. This overspeed has been recorded to your card. Remember, the message should only be cleared when safe to do so. The overspeed will only record the actual time you were exceeding 56 miles per hour after the initial minute and not up until the time this message is cleared. There are other messages that can be displayed on the VU and will be identified by the appropriate pictogram. They are cleared in the same manner by pressing OK to acknowledge and OK again to clear. These messages could be events such as power interruption, driving without a card not valid, or card inserted whilst driving. They could also be fault messages such as internal fault, printer fault, sensor fault, and card fault. At the end of your day with the vehicle stationary and the ignition still switched on, select Rest and press the Eject button. The card will be written to and will then ask for the end country, where you will acknowledge by pressing OK. The VU will now automatically prompt you with the option to take a printout of the activities on the card for that day. In most instances, this will not be required, so we will acknowledge No by pressing OK. The card now ejects. There are some occasions when you may be required to take a printout. Should you have reported a lost or stolen card, or the card has been damaged, you can drive the vehicle for a period not exceeding 15 days, but a daily printout must be taken. And as there has been no card inserted identifying you as the driver, you will need to fill in your details on the back. You must also print out at the start as well as at the end of your shift. You could possibly be subject to a roadside check, where the authorities may ask you to produce a printout. If you move between an analog and VU, you will be classed as carrying out mixed work. You will be required by law to carry with you 15 calendar days' worth of proof along with your current week. Proof being your analog charts for this period and your driver's card. It is not a legal requirement to take a daily printout, but should you want to take a printout at the end of your shift, simply eject your card, select Yes, and press OK. A printout of your day will start and the card will then eject. The printout contains a header, the body and a footer, and remember that all information is timed in UTC. Here we have an example of a printout taken from a roadside check. The header shows the time and type of printout. Information on the enforcement officer. Driver details. Vehicle details. The VU details. The calibration center details and date of the last calibration. The most recent control check. The body shows the manual entries made, the activities during the driving day, and a summary of the activities and vehicle mileage. The footer shows the 5 most recent events on the card, the 5 most recent events on the vehicle or VU, an area for signatures of the enforcement officer and driver. Should you encounter a roadside check, 2 printouts will be taken and signed by the driver and officer. Each will retain a printout for their own records. The printer paper is type approved for the VU. When the printer roll is nearing the end, a pink vein will be displayed telling you that the roll should be replaced. It is a simple press of the tray release and replacing the roll, and then push home the tray. The printer paper is of a thermal type and requires safe storage. Printouts taken should be stored in an envelope or file and not be subject to light, where the information will quickly fade. It is also a legal requirement to have a spare roll in the cab at all times. On the reverse of the paper, you can make written entries should you experience a failed VU. Remember to report this immediately for repair. So we have seen the VU in operation during the working day. So how do we see the information and what do we need to do with it? Firstly, let's look at retrieving the data from the driver's card. A smart card reader connected to a PC with the appropriate software is required. The card is inserted and read and can then be returned to the driver.
Right then, cheers, thanks very much. See you tomorrow. See you lads. See ya.
The file generally will then be uploaded to a system that can decipher the information and produce a report. The way the information is presented and the cost involved for this service is dependent on the provider you use. As the card has a finite memory, it should be read frequently. The memory allows 28 days of typical driver activity before the information is overwritten. So, as a matter of routine, you should download the card within 21 days of use. The VU should also be downloaded and the information analysed. The minimum legal requirement is that the raw data downloaded should be stored for a minimum of 12 months. If you are using the data for the Working Time Directive, this increases to 2 years. The VU will hold 1 year of typical activity in the memory before it is overwritten. So it is again advisable to download more frequently, say every 3 months. You will require a download tool, company card, and a PC to upload the file to. With the company card inserted, open the cover on the download interface and attach the tool. This particular tool, the DigiDown, is a simple system that uses removable media to write the files to. Just select the required download and the associated LED will flash evenly. The download is complete when the LED is on for a short period and off for a longer period. Ejecting the company card will give you the option of locking out. You would lock out your company when you sell the vehicle. Or, if returning a hire vehicle, you should download and then lock out before you hand the keys back to the hire company. If you do not wish to lock out, then press OK. If you do wish to lock out, then scroll up or down to Yes and OK. Your company is now locked out and your data is protected. Remember to insert your company card when the vehicle returns from the repairing agent. This will ensure that you are locked in and the data recorded from this point on is yours. Now the data from the VU has been downloaded to the tool, you need to transfer this to a PC, which can be done by inserting the SD card into a reader or by using the USB cable. Again, as we did with the driver's card earlier, this file can be uploaded to your preferred system, where it will be analysed and a report sent. Alternatively, if there is no requirement for the information to be analysed, you can store the file on your PC or write to a CD, for example, for archiving. The reports generated from the information on the card and VU range from driving hours and activities for this period, management reports, infringement reports, and infringement letters detailing when the infringements were made. Speed graphs from the VU and, very importantly, adherence to the Working Time Directive, where you can see the driver's working hours and availability for work over the following weeks. Let's just remind ourselves of the key points in our day using the digital tachograph. We locked in the company. The driver logged on with their driver card, making manual entries to correspond with their working shift. The driver carried out the deliveries with correct use of the activity button. The driver logged off without the need of a printout. The card was read. The VU was downloaded. The company was locked out. The files were uploaded to a system for analysis. We have covered the main points of the digital tachograph, and with a little practice, this will certainly become second nature. It's not difficult, just new. As we mentioned earlier, one of the key reasons for the introduction of the VU is to make the keeping of drivers' hours